It's May 16th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have a man pushed beyond human limits, bombs skipping across dark water, and a marriage that still unsettles historians 2 centuries later. Let's begin. On May 16, 1958, Air Force Captain Eli Beading Jr. sat strapped to a rocket sled in the desert of New Mexico. The test took place at Holloman Air Force Base, where researchers were studying what happens during violent crashes, emergency ejections, and sudden impacts. Beading was strapped in, facing backwards. The sled launched, and he only reached about 35 miles per hour, but the speed was not the terrifying part. The terrifying part was the stop. In an instant, the sled slammed into water breaks that came to a halt in just 1 foot. For a fraction of a second, Beading's body was crushed against the harness with unbelievable force. The sled itself measured around 40 Gs, but the device on his chest recorded something far worse, 82.6 Gs. To compare, modern flight pilots usually train for around 9 Gs. For a moment, he blacked out and went into shock. Doctors rushed him to the hospital, unsure what type of damage had been done, but after 3 days, Beading walked away. This is one of the most terrifying records in human survival, proof that for one brutal instant, the human body could endure the impossible. On May 16, 1943, 19 British Lancaster bombers lifted into darkness, carrying weapons that the world had never seen. The mission was called Operation Chastise. Its target was not a city or a battlefield, but a massive dam holding back waters of Germany's industrial valley. Inside each aircraft was a strange 9,000-pound cylinder bomb, designed to be like a skipping stone across water. To work, the bomb had to be dropped at exactly 60 feet above the surface at exactly the right speed while spinning backwards. If everything went perfectly, it would bounce over the water, leap past the torpedo nets, strike against the dam wall, and explode below the surface. Led by 24-year-old Wing Commander Guy Gibson, then came the attacks. The Molnar Dam broke first, then the Edgar. Behind them, walls of water thundered into the valley below, flooding factories, homes, and farmlands in the dark. The raid became legendary. 8 aircrafts never returned, 53 airmen were killed, and 3 became prisoners of war. And on the ground, over 1,600 civilians and forced laborers died in the flooding. Operation Chastise was remembered as a daring battle, a night where science, war, and human cost collided beneath the roar of low-flying bombers. On May 16, 1836, Edgar Allan Poe stood in Richmond, Virginia, and publicly married his young cousin, Virginia Clem. He was 27, and she was only 13. On paper, Virginia was listed as 21, a false age that helped avoid scandal and made the marriage easier to approve. But the truth had followed Poe's legacy ever since then. He'd already been living with the Clem family. Virginia had known him since childhood. To some historians, the marriage may have become as a protective family arrangement. To others, it was a most disturbing and uncomfortable chapter in a life of a writer famous for obsession, grief, and doomed love. What is clear is that Virginia became one of the most important figures in Poe's life. Years later, she grew terribly ill with tuberculosis. Poe watched her slowly fade, and her death at just 24 devastated him. Afterwards, his writings seemed haunted by young women lost too soon. But behind the romance was a far more unsettling reality, a 13-year-old girl. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next eerie dose is just a day away.